if you're rated between 1300 and 1400 or below, keep watching this video because I'm going to analyze 2 of my games, one game with white and one game with black, when I was rated 1300, in order to help you getting better. So let's start with the video. I'm an e4 player. I always played e4 for all my life. It's 3 years that I'm playing chess. Yeah, I think I always played d4. I never liked d4, honestly. So this move is not good for the simple reason because after you move the bishop on d6, the bishop is going to be pretty bad. The difference between bishop on d6 and pawn on d6 is that the bishop at least covers the squares, but honestly, if you put a pawn instead of the bishop, is going to do the same as a thing. So if your bishop is more or less as strong as a pawn, I think that is not a good move. So you should develop the bishop on c4. Maybe on c5, sorry. Maybe you can play on b4. But no. I mean, yeah, maybe you can try, but it's not a great move. But it's still better than playing bishop on d6. So how can you punish it? Well, I'm playing the Italian, so bishop on c4 is pretty logical. I don't feel why I shouldn't play this move, and now I want to castle as soon as possible. So that's a good thing. Now f6 is another pretty bad move because it weakens this light square diagonal. So in the future, after I move the knight, I can have some check with the queen on h5, and this is going to be a problem for him. So I feel like that in this position d4 is pretty good because I want to open the position, and the pawn on e5 is pretty weak. After that I castle and I destroy him. Why I don't castle first? Because d4 is more active and he kinda has to do something. Like if I castle, let's say he can play h6, but if I play d4, I don't know. I think he has to be careful. So d4, I actually played it. It's a really good move. It's already +2 because this move is bad and this move is bad. So I'm already winning in the opening because my opponent does not understand the position and what he's supposed to do. So he develops the knight, and at this point, this pawn is not under attack. If I take, he develop a piece in a better position. So what can I do now is just wait and castle short. And what I played? Take. Now, take is not a good move. Usually in chess, you want to keep some tension between pieces. You don't want to take, usually. Sometimes, I mean, is the best move, but in this case, if I take, his knight is going to be better. So what if he takes my pawn? My knight is going to be better, and if he take, I take with the queen, and I have developed 2 pieces, and he has only 1, so I'm good. But I took the pawn, and what computer saying? Yeah, it's the best move, but he should really shut up, honestly. Don't understand, Stockfish. I mean, yeah, maybe it's for d5 though. Queen d5 is quite a good move. But if you take with the knight, the bishop is going to be under attack, so I don't really get it. Unless you take, let's see, take, and now queen d5? No. So why? f4? Ah, because he wants to play f4. Yeah, that makes sense, although, trust me, you're not going to play a Stockfish every time, and trust me again, usually most of the times you want to keep the tension. So right now I would have castled, but yeah, I take with the knight. At this point his knight is really strong, so or I take it, or I can move my bishop. Okay, I take it, so now f4, I guess. I played the engine line, okay. So he moves, What? Well, now you have to castle, I guess. Knight c3, yeah, but just castle, don't move every pawn. Just castle, be safe, and then you can attack. This blunders a pawn. So that's... So, in this position, you can play queen on h5, although I don't feel like it's a great move. I mean, it's a winning move, but after he blocks, well, maybe queen on f3, I have a lot of pressure. You can't play knight on h6 because I'm going to take it, so yeah. That probably wins, but I mean, if you want to be precise, queen on f3, but also castle short could be a really good move. After queen f3, I think he can play d5. Bishop before check. Oh yeah, there is a check though. So he has counterplay, so just castle, which is the best move. Just castle, and after that you prepare every that in the world. You can give a check, you can do whatever you want. So his position is too passive. As you see, he played a bunch of really bad moves. I have a strong pawn that controls really important square in the center. That's why you should have something that controls the center, because as you see, he can't move. If he plays knight on h6, I'm just going to take it, or I'm going to give a check. And if he blocks, I win the knight. So he is in a lot of trouble. He's +7. He's completely lost. Now check and you win. Queen h5, you win. Yeah, take it, now check. Queen h5 is mate in 1, actually, yeah. So, miss mate in 1? What? It's just a simple mate. Just give a check. Give a check, please. Queen on h... Come on. No, this was so bad. So, when the king is wide open, you don't want to play queens. If you play queens, you have no threat, because you traded your most powerful piece. Why? What is the point? I was winning, completely winning. It was mate in 1, but for a bunch of moves, that was just queen on h5. If you see a way to give your opponent a check and he loses the right to castle, well, you still have a lot of pieces. You have to do that, because after that is going to be in a lot of trouble. It's going to be pinned. You're going to have a lot of checks. But in this way, I played every piece, and that makes absolutely no sense. And not even up material, so my attack is gone for some reason. Yeah, let's keep trading for absolutely no reason. So this was a really bad mistake. If you have a really strong attack going on, don't trade. Doesn't matter if your opponent is a grandmaster, don't trade. Because otherwise you have 0 attacking chances. And you're going to lose or to draw. But I guess you won't win. So, alright, just move the knight. Okay. Fair enough. So now I can win. I feel like there is a way to mate him. So computer is saying c4 check. You see, the king has pretty much no square where to go. So c4, because after he takes, I check him again, and oh yeah. There is this. King b5, and I think you can mate him with the pawn, a4. Whoa, that is really good. So another thing you need to understand is that if the king is bossed, like this time, you see he only has 2 square where to go. A lot of time there are tactics where you can sack pieces or a bit of material in order to give a mate. So yeah, this was a really good tactic, but obviously missed it, and I kept trading for absolutely no reason at all. Now this is mate, this is straight up mate, so it's the second time that I blundered mate. Yeah, keep trading, I guess, and now I see the check for some reason. Now a4 in order to gain space could be a good move. Yeah, and now I do not put the knight on a decent square. Yeah, now knight on f4 makes sense because I don't want to give him too much activity. Yeah. So, and I proceeded to lose this position. I mean, yeah, I resigned. This was quite a bad game. Wow. I thought I played better. So, obviously, if you see this diagonal open in a position where your opponent plays f6, you know that this diagonal is weak. If you don't know, now you know. So every time you see that, every move you play, see if you can play queen on h5 check. So next game. Let's see. So he played e4. At that time, I kept playing the French. Now, I want to say a thing about the French. You shouldn't play the French till you reach 1600, let's say. The French is quite a complicated defense because there are a lot of variation and you have to be precise sometimes because otherwise you're going to get destroyed. So if you are 1300, don't play the French. That's my suggestion, my personal experience, and I mean, I play the French. I mean, I played quite a lot of time the French, so trust me, I don't play it. I still play the French. I mean, it's a great opening, but it's difficult. So this is its change of variation. It's quite boring, although no one draws. I mean, if you're a top player, I guess you draw in a classical game, but in a rapid game, it's quite hard to draw this. Yeah, it's a symmetrical position if you play bishop on d6, which is what I play, but don't worry, people try to win and then they lose. So it's not sort of a wish as people say. Also white has some lines to play to win, but yeah, bishop d6 is the best move. Also black has something like, for example, knight on c6, although it's not so good for black because if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get demolished. For example, bishop on d6 is already a mistake. Just play bishop on e7, blocking the check with the rook was much better. And now obviously the best move is giving a check. You give a check, and if you block with the bishop, you play knight on g5, threatening the bishop. I mean, yeah, good as white. It's not even the best move. Bishop g5. Yeah, I mean, white has a lot of pressure. So now we should really castle. No, just castle. Alright, now I'm okay. This pawn is a little bit weak because usually you play c6. Now I can't, but it's still playable. He also did a mistake. I mean, you shouldn't really play knight c3. You want to block to have a solid position playing pawn on c3, but it's okay. Not losing at all. This move is not necessary, so this kinda is a mistake, and this is a thing that I really want to point out. So at this level and higher, people play things that are not necessary. For example, h6 is not necessary at all. I played h6 because I don't want to allow bishop on g5, but after I play bishop on g5, at that point I can actually play h6, and I play h6 gaining a time at least. This way I don't even gain a time. So if you keep playing move that actually, pretty much waste a time because they are not doing anything useful for your position, you're just wasting the time. if you keep playing this move, you're going to reach a point where you are completely lost because you lost 20 times. I used 20 times to do whatever I wanted to do, and you are completely lost. So you should try to play moves that are useful. So this wasn't. Yeah, now develop pieces. Bishop on g4 is a pretty logical move. I don't see why you shouldn't play it. Now you want to say the bishop. This bishop is strong. And you're not even losing a time with your bishop. Let's say you play bishop on e7 and after that you play a6. So your opponent wastes another time to put the knight back. So you can play bishop on e7 with any problem. Without any problem. So this is another move that is not useful at all. Yeah, computer is saying that it's a playable move, but does not understand. Can't play stockfish. So if you play a6, he's going to take the bishop. Alright, but why did my opponent play knight on b5? Because he wants to take my bishop. So if I play a6, he's going to take my bishop anyway. Why should I play a6? I just waste a move. Make him undo what he already wanted to do. You see? That makes absolutely no sense. I just wasting a move. I should try to save the bishop, but if I don't want to save the bishop, let's say develop the rooks at least. Yeah, this move is bad. So at least now I have a good queen. It's not lost, but at a certain level you lose games after you make a lot of small mistakes. I mean, at 1300 you lose because you blundered the queen, I guess, or you can't find a mate. But yeah, you should be careful. So this attack the knight. I guess I had to move it. Alright. I had to be careful because if a pawn defends two things, there could be a tactic in the future. Yeah. For example, take, queen take. So I had to be careful. Alright. And I take the bishop, which is a completely logical move. I don't see why not now develop the rook, do something, please. Yeah. Alright. This is a good move. Don't see anything wrong with this. So I take the bishop, you take with the queen. I don't know, this knight, I mean, no, you have to lose a pawn. Let's say I take, queen take, I take the pawn. Oh yeah, well, it's actually what I did. It's bad because he plays, oh yeah, he can let a mate. Oh no, wait, there is two pieces attacking. Oh yeah, I'm dumb. So no, you shouldn't really take this pawn. Yeah, I know that attacks the queen, but after that the pawn is hanging. So alright, this is another mistake that players at this level do. So they see they can take a pawn. Maybe you also see that your opponent is threatening f7, but you take the pawn because you think you can't take f7 because otherwise I take the queen, which is logical, although you miss a thing. What if you move the queen? So if you take this pawn, he moves the queen somewhere. Let's say even queen on c3 is not the best move. You have to move the knight again, and then I can take this pawn. And what is better, taking this pawn or taking the f7 pawn with the rook on the 7th rank? You know what is better. So your opponent is going to be better because you miscalculated the position. You thought this was good, but you missed the fact that after that your opponent can do another move. So my suggestion is, before you take a piece, before you take a pawn, before you take something, don't just think, I take this because I attack this. Think, I take this, it attack this piece, and what if you move the piece? Now, after that, if you don't see the problem, you can take. Otherwise, you're not going to take. So what I'm just suggesting is to calculate at least 2 moves. You can do that. So that's actually what he played. Yeah, queen on c2. Yeah, I mean, you see, he's going to take the pawn. It's not good for me. Oh, so I try to be tricky with this move. Yeah, which might be really good. Yeah, it's the best move. So now it allow me to play this. If you play the queen on h5 at this point, that would have been queen on f7, which is a win. I mean, everything is going to fall. So the best move is to take the knight, but he moves his. So at this point, I guess I can move my knight or take the pawn with the rook. So I take the pawn and now I'm much better. So that's good. Let's develop the other rook. And I'm playing with all the pieces. If you play with all the pieces and you're up 2 pawns, you have to be better, come on. So now he's probably going to take, I take, and he moves the king. Now, what can I do? You're suggesting to move the knight somewhere, which makes sense because you don't want any tactic. Just move the knight, for example, on b5, attacking this pawn is a great move. This pawn is also under attack, so knight on b5 is quite a great move. Computer is also suggesting queen on e6, but I mean, the most logical is this. Although, maybe you can actually move the king on f7, but I don't know if there are going to be some problems. Obviously, not king on h7, because there is a queen. So, alright, I'll move the knight. Fair enough, it's not great because I'm blocking the rook, so knight on b5 was much better, although this pawn is under attack, so it's fair enough. Take the pawn. Oh, there is a tactic now. You can take the knight, rook take, and then check. I mean, rook block and checkmate. So yeah, in a rapid game, I think you can see something like that. Maybe not at this rating, but this pawn is hanging, so it's pretty simple. And I attack the knight for no reason at all, weakening the position, because my king now is less safe. Alright, but at least I take the pawn. Now I'm up 300 pawns. I have to be careful, because if I take the knight, there is queen on g6. That is going to be a problem. This is not so easy to see. Although what you could do, because taking with the knight is we check. What if you take with the rook? Take, check, king there, take, queen g6, move, queen take. Yeah, probably you can play something like that. You could take with the rook. Oh yeah, it's the best move. So you take with the rook, you take back, you take, king moves, you can take the rook, and after this check you move the king, I guess queen takes, but after you go that, queen h7, it's saying queen on d8, what a king on d8, but also king on e6 is good. Yeah, so yeah. And after this, I mean, you're completely winning. You start giving check, taking the pawn with check, and you're up 300 pawns. So this was completely winning, obviously. But instead, what I did, and also if you take with the knight, you can take with the knight. I'm not saying you can't, but after they play something like this, just be safe and play king on g7, and after that, this pawn is still hanging, so you are okay. And this was a pretty bad mistake. So queen on g6. And now it's completely over. What can I say? I kind of played well, but you know, at this level, sometimes you miss this tactic, and missing this tactic can decide if you win or if you lose a game. So if you want to get better in tactic, just play puzzle. What I do is playing puzzle survival every day, just once. But if you play it correctly, if you really think, if you want to put, I don't know, half an hour into that, you're going to get much better really quickly. Because you're going to see tactic, and you're going to calculate faster and better. So that's my suggestion. So that's it for today, guys. You see, I also had some bad moment in the past. Now I'm so strong. I'm between the best players in the world, obviously, as you can tell. So that's it for today, guys, and see you in the next video.